Okay, so real quick, I just wanted to give it a kind of a wide shot on my soldering station here. And, just kind of some basics. I have my board that I actually really enjoy kind of working down and kind of working with gravity, and I just kind of strap things in. But I have also used the Panavice as well. This is kind of nice because you can rotate it and it articulates pretty well, but I use it backwards, and that way this area back here is kind of a palm rest. So that's actually really nice in working with this. My actual soldering iron right here, various tools, this is a wreck, but I wanted to show it to you. This is 2 weeks going on, just 2 weeks of like hooking stuff up, making cables as I need them, right? Because I don't have to buy anything. I can just kind of fabricate whatever I need, even if it's just weird stuff like, an RCA to an XLR, right? Like I don't necessarily I don't have that, but I can make it, right? So this is what's great about it. And you can just adapt your studio as needed. And even I have like transformers that I can make as like these adapter cables that isolate between two pieces of gear if I need to. So it's a great thing to know how to do. Multimeter for measuring continuity, especially if you have bare cables and you want to know, okay, how is this cable wired on the other end? We'll stick it in pin 2 and find out, is it the blue wire or is it the white wire? Okay, the blue wire is 2, so that's my hot. So now soldering the other end, I know how to make the other end of the cable. Tester, yeah, various other things. And also here, I kind of have a lot of kind of the daily stuff, like, gun oil. Every time I unscrew a mic from a stand, I just make sure that it's well oiled because, I need this gear to last. Detox it. Various kind of things to kind of keep connections clean. Goo Gone. Goo Gone for like patch bays and other stickers that I have. Electronic cleaner. So yeah, this thing I really don't use necessarily because it's hard to get the soldering iron in there, but it actually works really nice as a light. And these little kind of clip-on lights I can move down. So this is actually how I usually solder is this amount of light, and this is I think 100-watt equivalent LED, and then I have this light as well. So I have it from 2 angles, very, very high light. But then on a normal day, I can just move this up and just kind of put it in position as kind of a normal, workbench, unscrew the screws from something or, do whatever. So I'm going to go get the camera, move it in, and I'll show you kind of how I kind of test a cable and fix it. Okay, so half the battle of cable making is getting the cable to stay put. So if you can arrange the cable in such a way that it's not going to pull off the table and you're constantly fighting it, then that's a great annoyance kind of gone at that point. And what I do is I've learned color coding. It's a great system to learn. I learned it in basically the degrees of heat. So the hottest colors to the coldest colors. But then a friend was like, yeah, it's just Roy G. Biv. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, it is. But I hate alphabetizing. I hate I don't know. It just shifts my brain into a different mode. So colors of heat, I can quickly access, I guess, being like a creative brain kind of space when I'm around the studio. So it kind of, I don't know, it just works for me. So, brown is burnt to a crisp, then red hot, orange hot, yellow, cooling down a little bit. Then we're going to go cold, and then blue, and then very cold, and then gray. So that's how I've learned it, okay? I don't know how you guys would learn it, but that's how I've learned it. So really, depending on the cable, you will, you'll want to use either this end or this end. Yeah, depending on what you're already using, you have to use either the out or the in. Put it that way. So obviously this is the in, so now I got to go brown into the out. I check it, there we go. So I give it a little wiggle, and I know that it's good. So what this does is this lights up, I hit reset, and if it's intermittent at all, it's going to light up, and it's going to let me know. But what I'm looking for is a nice three dots, like tic-tac-toe, and it just says pin 1 goes to pin 1 on the other cable, pin 2 goes to pin 2 on the other cable, pin 3 goes to pin 3 on the other cable. That's all it does. Now, you can also do this thing where if you don't have the other end of the cable, then what you can do is hold reset while turning on cable test mode, and then it'll flash. Now, it won't tell you if it's actually going somewhere, if the cable is connected to something, but it will tell you if they're shorted together. So let's see here. Okay. So now it can test, and it's telling me that none of the cables are shorted together. So that's at least, kind of half of a test, but it's better than nothing. But in normal mode, that's what we want. Tic-tac-toe, boom, boom, boom. And there we go. So brown, red. Okay, give a little wiggle. None of these lights turned on for intermittent, so I know that the cable's good. Brown, red, orange. Yellow. Up. In and out, and then reset. Looks good. Give it a wiggle. Now, I've actually already tested this snake here, because I actually clipped this end off. But in the green, I didn't get all three lights. So what I do is I go up from the XLR, assuming that this is probably where it went bad, just from use, and I go up to about here and just snip it off. And then what I'll do is, strip it back and resolder it to the end. So green I already did. Blue. Looking good. Blue, purple. Oh, purple was another bad one. And then gray. And there we go. So get a little shake. So now all we got to do is fix these two. Okay, so what I like to do is, I have a stripper somewhere. I don't know where it is, and it drives me nuts. But I can use this utility knife in the time being. Just very carefully roll it along. You don't want to cut too deep. And you look for where it starts to split. Okay, so you have the cable. And I have another video on soldering if you really want to get a really close shot of this. But this is, I guess, close enough for now, for the detail. But then you have the jacket, the shielding. And you just kind of take your finger and just roll it out to the side. Okay. Then give it a twist. And then we have the hot and cold. So go ahead and strip it. See, I think it's, I don't know. I think I did 26. Yeah. You try to strip it to where you're not actually cutting the wire. You're just trying to strip the jacket. Now, I don't know how this is hooked up. So I need to get my multimeter, set it for continuity. The multimeter, this just says if it's connected. Okay, so you can tell if something's shorted together, or you can tell if something's positively connected in a good way or a bad way. So basically, we just got to figure out what's going on. So obviously the ground. Okay, but then which one of these is the tip? Okay. Interesting. Oh, okay. Yeah, this multimeter, you have to really hold it down on the thing here. Okay, so that's the tip, and the white is the ring. Yeah. Okay, so red is the pin 2 of our XLR. Okay, we'll go ahead and strap this in. Again, you could use the Panavise, you could use this. It really doesn't matter. I mean, for the longest time, I used this, you know? I mean, it works. The Panavise, it can actually damage stuff if you clamp the part too hard. So I did that a couple of times, and eventually I adopted it, but it took me a minute to kind of use it. But you really just need something to kind of hold it still. And I'm working pretty hot. I mean, this iron is 800 degrees, I think. Usually helps if there's a little solder on the tip. Okay, we're almost there. There we go. And then it just kind of comes free. Okay. Yeah. I know why I went to the Panavise now. Just, you know, not enough grip on the parts. There we go, it busted free. You know what, I'm gonna move to the Panavise here. Yeah, I think I've graduated. Okay. Okay. They have this heat shrink on there. There we go. And just like that, I saved like $3.50 on this part. So, yeah, pretty good. I think I got like a bucket of like 100 XORs for, I don't know, $25, I think. Now what we need to do is just tin these wires a little bit. So we're just adding a little solder to my iron and then a little bit to the actual wires. Helps if you have a little fan to kind of blow the smoke away. I think I spilled some flux, and it kind of got up on the solder, so it kind of makes a lot of smoke. But so I'm doing this here just to keep everything clean and keep it together, so it doesn't untwist, basically. But it also is helpful, and you really should kind of slip this on first. You will forget this. At some point, you're going to forget to put this part on. But if you do it first thing, you can't forget it. And you don't have to mess with any of this stuff. But now, I got to kind of feed this through. And it helps if you put a little solder on the ends. So, just kind of feed this through. It's not a big deal. Let's see here. We have, just make sure of this. Yeah, so pin 2 is closest to me. Pin 3 is always the top. So all we got to do is put a little solder on the tip. It'll help transfer the heat. What I'm looking to do is heat up the boat, as it's called, the solder inside and the wire all at the same time. So heat it up. You'll see it turn to liquid. And there we go. And just, you know what? This is not working. Come on. Okay. There we go. Just like that. I'm the Bob Ross of soldering. Okay. Heat it up. Goes to liquid. You go right in. Yep. Now this one's usually a little bit longer, see? So what I like to do is get my clippers. Where's my, this is, oh, here they are. They're literally under the vise here. Okay. So if you've done it right, you can just kind of like hold the wire there. You don't have to fight it, you know? You'll see it turn to liquid. Boom. You don't want to overheat the wire, because if you overheat the wire, that's going to go up the wire and it's going to melt, and you're actually going to have the shielding basically come and intrude upon the hot or the cold wire. You'll have a short. Let me add a little bit more solder here. What's the difference between the words solder and soldier? It's like one letter difference. Add some soldier to this solder. Whatever. Then all you do is you put this part on. Then you figure out how it's going to fit in. It's going to, there's little ridges inside. There you go. This also follows ridges. It'll slide into about that point. Now you can just slide this up. Okay, now we can check our work. There we go. Okay. Up. Okay. Now, I could add a little more solder to this one. Kind of lay it in there, let it dry. Okay, take this one, clip off a little bit, close your eyes. Oh man, that's really angled. Okay, so I got all the pins in there. Hopefully I didn't melt any of the wires to where it's gonna short anything, but we'll find out in a second. Then I'll just kind of use this as like a holder. It's like pushes through the cable here. Line up the notches. Okay. Purple 1/4 inch. Yep, there we go. No intermittent signal. That's why I kind of shake it. Make sure there's no, bad wire spots. But there we go.